got lots of people here.
We do. Awesome.
Party, party.
Yeah. So I got to tell you a funny thing. My family was just like, "What are you hurrying up, running around, trying to get dressed for? I thought this thing was virtual." I'm like, "It is, but we're all going to have our cameras
on."
Exactly. Nobody's dressed from the waist down.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Here we go.
Hey, Kathy.
I'm going to say hello, everybody. We are live. We are live going to YouTube for the first time publicly. So hopefully there's no glitches. Why do I look blurry? Do I look blurry?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, you do to me. But
Did you have the eye doctor again?
Right. Okay. All right. So here's what I want to
A little blurry.
First. I want to say, first of all, welcome everybody that's with us here in Zoom. Thank you for joining us. And for those of you watching on YouTube, thank you for joining us there. If anybody is new to our group or to our live streams, I want to say welcome and thank you for being with us. For those that don't know, we aren't just a Facebook group, okay? We have a website. And if you go there, the Bag Makers Workshop, you'll find any of our current workshops that are either available or coming out, which is kind of where we're at right now. But fear not, we will be mentioning some things tonight. So hopefully you'll be in on it. So what I'm going to say is that if you go to the Bag Makers Workshop website, create an account, and sign up for email notifications, you'll be the first to know when we do add to the website, okay? And take a look at the website because you're going to see also that there are some resource lists for the items we use during our workshops. You will see some free videos, helpful tutorials. If not, hopefully it's helpful. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. And the next thing I wanted to say is for those of you on YouTube, there is about a 20-second lag between us and you. So you're welcome to post questions in the comments. However, just know that it's going to be a little bit of a delay before we get to you. Okay. For those of you here in Zoom, I want to ask you to mute your mics while we do our demonstrations. And then, of course, if you have any questions, raise your hand or just go ahead and shout it out. We're good either way. Okay. This is very low key and casual. So what are we doing tonight? We are going to have some fun. We are, first off, I'm going to get us started with a cocktail. It's the Christmas Lemon Drop Cosmo, and be honest with you, it's really just a Cosmo with lime juice. It really is. So,
and sugar.
Teresa Burgess, who is one of our team members, who isn't able to be with us tonight, she knows how much I love a citrus cocktail, and so when she shared this one with me, I'm all over it. That's my favorite already. And so I did sample it, and I will say it's pretty good, right, Sue? And so that's what I'm going to start with. And then we're going to jump into a demonstration by Isabela Felix of the Bag Making Academy, who is also one of our instructors for the Bag Makers Workshop. And she's going to be demonstrating how to make a luggage tag. And it's very elegant and probably very straightforward and simple to do as well. So we'll be doing that after me. And then we're going to get Andrea Bakewell, who is also one of our instructors here, the Bag Makers Workshop. She is going to show how to use up some scraps of leather to make these beautiful earrings. Okay. And then we're going to jump to Sue Cheek of Maggie 55, also one of our instructors here. And she's going to show how she makes tassels with a monogram. Okay. And then we're going to wrap it up at the end by giving you guys all the announcement of our 2025 workshops. Okay. So I hope that you all stick around. I don't know exactly how long this will go. I'm trying not to be the cat herder tonight and make sure that I'm trying to put that whip away. All right. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I am going to get started, but I'm going to remove the spotlight here. And I'm going to leave you guys for just a moment while I go to the kitchen to get set up. So I'm going to turn my camera off. Sue, you can tell a joke. How's that? But it can't be very long because,
No, you don't want that. You really don't want that. I think Serena should.
Make sure it's clean.
See,
Oh,
there she's singing. We need Trisha from the retreat. She's saying a
yeah.
beautiful.
Yes, I was
Night.
just
Oh my-
thinking about her.
Oh, I play that constantly. Her Gladys Knight song. She was so good.
She was. It was good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And no, I
Yeah.
can't sing. And I'm
What a
not going to
sport,
tell the
what a
joke because
sport
mine
she
would
Yeah.
be
What
mine would
song
be.
did she sing?
She finally
Okay.
even-
I'm back. So let me.
See, that was quick.
I wasn't
That
gone
was
long.
quick.
I know, right? I tried to
Nice
get
kitchen.
it as quickly as I could ahead of time. Okay.
Nice.
So what I'm making is Christmas lemon drop Cosmo. Again, it's just a Cosmo with lemon juice instead of lime juice. Okay. So what are you going to need? You're going to need a shaker. And if you like to measure, a source of measuring, I have a plate of sugar to rim my glass. And I also have a glass. This drink could be beautiful in a martini glass, which is pink. So a nod to Isabella. You're going to love the color. It would be great. Let me move this over just a little bit. And then you're going to need some lemon juice, some cranberry juice. And what makes this drink extra special is there's these two guys you got to have. Mr. Absolute, followed by Mr. Cointreau. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna get some ice. All right, so what I'm gonna do first is put a little ice in here. And if you read the recipe, you saw that vodka was 1.5 to 2.5 ounces of vodka.
I'm gonna feel this in the
Happening on this end. I'm a lightweight, so I did 1.5. It also said that you could use
Yes. And,
Jello, that's
but
optional.
guys,
Hold on a second, Teresa. Can we have everybody mute their mics for a minute? Somebody's interfering. It's hard to hear Teresa. I hear a
good?
man. I hear a man speaking or something. That's better. Thank you.
Okay. So I just add lemon juice. The recipe called for also limoncello, which is optional. I didn't use it. I just throw some lemon juice in there because that's more alcohol. Oh, I gotta conduct a little demo tonight. Okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut my lemon and I'm going to run it around the edge of my glass really quickly here. And then I'm just gonna rim my glass just like that, okay? And then I don't measure the lemon juice. I pretty much know how much how much juice is in half a lemon, and it's about 2 tablespoons. And that's about what I'm gonna do. But it does call for 1 ounce of lemon juice. I'm gonna throw that in there. Well, I have it here. And I see I got some seeds in there. Yay. Fortunately, I have a seed. Okay, so then I'm going to add some vodka. And this I'm going to do 1.5 ounces. Ounce.
Oh, go for 2.
All right, Lorraine.
You tell her.
1.5 ounces of that. 1.5 ounces of Cointreau. You could use triple sec. And I know, Linda, you weren't there, Linda Sachs. You weren't there when I mentioned this earlier, but well, good job with the prep. I love that red sugar on your rim of your glass. It's nice, like that. Okay. And then we did the ounce of lemon juice and we're gonna do 1 ounce of cranberry juice. That's it, super simple. Put the lid on, give it a good shake, and I always hold the lid on. You don't want it exploding. Fortunately, I have a streamer, so I gotta put the ice in my glass. Look at that. Well, I'll show you. You can't see it yet. Look at this
Good
beautiful
for us.
pen.
Wow.
Nice.
right?
Wow.
Oh, there's my S for my last name.
Ah.
Anyway, cheers, Teresa Burgess. Here's to you.
Beautiful.
Hey.
Teresa.
Yeah. Okay. Enough of me. How quick was that? I tried to go fast. I'm gonna spotlight Isabella now, and she's gonna take over. Here we go.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Teresa. That drink looks delicious. I'm just going to drink my vodka straight up. It's water, not vodka. Don't worry. All right. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Isabella. I'm with the Bag Making Academy and also a resident instructor for the Bag Makers Workshop. I'm so happy to be here in our 3rd annual holiday happy hour. How fun is that? I love that we have our little traditions and we keep them up every year. That's awesome. Let me go ahead and switch cameras. I'm going to show you what I'm going to be sharing with you today. All right, here we go. I'm going to show you how to make this cute little luggage tag that you can personalize, you can embroider on, you can add age TV, you can add it to your luggage, you can add it to your laptop bag. And it's a super easy, fun, quick project, a great little scrap buster. And I designed this little number for with our double-sided Texas faux leather in mind, which is this product here. I know a lot of you are familiar with it. It's super soft, super malleable, Serena. It comes in many different colors. It is about 1.6 to 1.8 millimeters in thickness, but it is domestic sewing machine friendly because again, it's very soft. But the cool thing about it is that the edges can be left raw because it is dyed all the way through, and the back has this beautiful suede type of finish as well. And I also made one out of leather that I bonded with lambskin. So, and then I painted the edges and used my filetus. So you can get as crazy as you want. You can go all the way to leather, or you can just leave it as simple as you wish. The good news too is I had SVGs designed for this project. So if you use your electronic cutting machine to cut out the pieces, which there are only 4 pieces, you can literally get this done in about 10 minutes. So it's amazing. And it's been a very popular design. I think I posted it probably about 1.5 to 2 years ago. And I was showing you guys how to do HTV customization on the Texas double-sided faux in my group. And people have been asking me to release a pattern ever since. And it's just been so darn busy that it's kind of fallen to the back burner. But here we are today. So anyways, here's what you're going to need. A very small piece, 5 by 12 inches of double-sided faux or leather, totally up to you. You're also going to need some clear vinyl, a small piece 4 by 5 inches or so, and the clear vinyl goes here on this little window that protects your information. You're going to need a little scrap of Decaville light, and the Decaville light is going to be used to reinforce the stress points on the little strap. I'll talk more about that in a minute. 2 pieces of hardware, a small double cap rivet, and a dainty, charming little buckle with a center bar. And this one is 3/8 of an inch of width inside the buckle. Okay. I do have hardware kits available in my shop because this number here is a little bit hard to find. So if you guys are interested, head over to the shop and I'll give a coupon code at the end so that you can use to shop if you wish. As far as tools are concerned, you're going to need your sewing machine, some thread, a brand new needle, and it can be, like I said, industrial or semi-industrial or even your domestic machine. I am not going to be sewing today. I kind of prepared everything ahead of time because I don't want to keep you guys waiting because we have a lot of ground to cover tonight. Double-sided tape, and I recommend 1/8 of an inch just so you can keep things away from the path where the needle's going to go. A ruler, some sewing clips, and silver pen, And last but not least, you're going to need a rivet installation tool or a hand press to install the rivets. If you don't have access to a cutting machine, then you would also need some punches, oblong punches and round punches as well. All this information is with the pattern pieces, so you don't have to worry about that. All right, so let's get started. So like I said, we have 4 pattern pieces. We have the front that has this little cutout. We have the back. We have the clear window, which is a little bit smaller than the front and back by design so that we don't see the edges of the vinyl peeking through. And then you have the little strap here that already comes with the little cuts for the buckle as well as for us to tie the strap. So first things first, we're going to reinforce the stress points. And if we look at our thing here, the stress points are right where the buckle is, right on the strap, as well as the lower part of the strap here, and also right where it goes around the tag, right? Because people are not very nice when they're our bags at the airport or put them in the belly of the airplane, as I call it. So we want to make sure that things are very nicely reinforced. So if you look at it from this side, I add one right here where there's a little hole for my buckle. Can you guys hear me okay?
You're
Can you guys
choppy.
hear me okay? Yeah?
You're choppy.
Okay, good. And okay, is this better? No, still choppy?
I think you're fine.
It's
I'm
fine
getting
now.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds fine.
Perfect. I just got a notice saying that my connection was unstable. That's why I asked. So if there's a problem, let me know. Another one is here in this little center hole. And then the third one, which is where we have that bend as it goes through the tag. This one is 3 inches in from this edge here. And I apply the Decaville light. You can either do it with contact cement, which I love, or you can do it using a heat press or your iron. Okay, so that's the first step. The second step is we're going to mark 4 inches from the bottom here up, because that's where we're going to start sewing and stop sewing, because this part here stays open so that we can insert our little tag here. And we need to know where to start and where to stop that little seam. So I'm going to grab my ruler and I have it down here marked at 4. So using my silver pen, I'm going to mark it here on one side, move it over to the opposite side. I'm going to mark it right there too. There you go. And we're going to repeat that same thing for the back. And on the other side. And it's always a good practice to kind of line things up here and make sure that your markings line up in the front and back, because it should line up. So it's one of those cases, measure 4 times, double check everything before you commit to it. So after we're done marking, we're going to grab the front, we're going to flip it so that the wrong side of the material is facing up. And we're going to take our little clear window here and apply 2 little pieces of double-sided tape to either or both edges here. And I want you to think where the needle is going to go, which is about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge, and try to place it so that it's not directly in the path of the needle, so your needle doesn't get gummy and whatnot. We're going to go ahead and remove the backing from the tape. And I'm going to place it and glue it down to the back of my front. Now it is, like I said, about 1/16 of an inch smaller all the way around. And you can use the little hole here for the strap as a guide, because the holes are going to line up. Okay, so you're going to press it down and we're going to go over to our sewing machine and we're going to start sewing right here on this mark all the way around this curve to the other mark. You can backstitch if you wish, or you can just pull through the thread through to the back and tie a knot and then burn the ends. Totally up to you. So we're going to do that for the front and for the back as separate pieces. And what we're going to end up with is two pieces that look like this, with that top stitching right there. Okay, what we're going to do next is we're going to add two pieces of double-sided tape again to the edges here, away from the path of the needle if you're concerned with that sort of stuff. And then we're going to glue both pieces together. Okay, now this is important for you to make sure that, you know, things are cut well, that the edges are lining up, because when I sew one side, I have to be able to catch the top and the bottom layers. So spend a little bit of extra time here. And if you wish, we can add a third little strip of double-sided tape to the bottom here, just so things stay put and don't move on us as we start to sew.
Isabella, can I interrupt you for a moment?
You sure can.
Is this pattern available on your website?
It is available on my website. It's currently on sale. It does not come with the instructions because you're getting the instructions here and you can refer back to them. But you get the pattern pieces and you get the SVG files and material list. And I even included a template for the little tag that goes inside
Awesome.
the leather tag. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pull off the backing here. And I'm going to place the top over, or the front over the back, wrong sides together, making sure that all of my edges line up. And if they don't, make sure that they do. Like for instance here, do you see how it moved on me? So I'm going to go ahead and reattach that. Like so. I like to use the double-sided tape, but also like to use some clips just so I can ensure that things are not going to move on me as I'm sewing them, because that makes me very, very mad. And it's happened more times than I care to share with you guys. And then the idea is for us to start sewing here. And I'll do a back stitch right here to really secure that stitch in place. And then I'll go all the way down, turn the corner, go across to the other side and come back up. And when I reach this point here, I'll go over that stitch and back stitch as well. As you can see, I made a boo-boo here, but we're keeping it real. It happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen for you. I'm going to take my awl and I'm going to poke it right here where I stopped my stitch, just to make sure that it lines up with the stitch on the back. Because what I wanted to do is, once I stitch this down, I don't want any gap between the stitches here in the front or the back. So just make sure that things are lined up the way that they should be. Okay, so after we're done with this step, this is what we are going to end up with. So right there, that's where my stitch started. And I came all the way down, across to the other side, went back and stopped right there. Okay. Then you can take one of those little paper tags that you can print on cardstock if you wish, or a nice little piece of paper, and you can add it here so people can add their information, their contact information. It is fully removable. And last but not least, we have to make sure that we get the strap done. So let's get that taken care of. So we have our strap here and it has all the holes that we need. We are going to take our little center buckle, or the buckle with the little center bar. And here's what we're going to do. We are going to feed it through like that. This requires a little bit of patience, and I got my nails done, but I've come to realize that I can either have nice nails or I can work. I can't do both.
I was going to tell you, they look beautiful.
And they look beautiful and I love them, but guess what? I lost all my touch. It's it is not a good combination.
Penny
All
says
right.
nails always look cute.
Oh, Penny, you're too good to me. Too good. All right, I'm going to put the little center buckle here through the hole where the Bakewell is, and then feed this through like that. And then we're going to make sure that both these holes where the rivets are going to go, that they're going to meet up like this. And I'm going to grab my rivet and I'm going to feed it through both holes, the post through both holes. And then I'm going to place my little cap here. And you can do this, you can install it using a hand setting tool and a poly board and a mallet. Or if you have a hand press, you can certainly use that too. So I'm going to go ahead and place my rivet here on my hand press and press it down so that I can secure my rivet in place. Like this. Okay. And then what we are going to do is we're going to feed it. Let's assume that this is all sewn up. You're going to feed this through all three little holes, right? We have the hole for the front, the clear window, and then the hole for the back portion. And then we're going to bring over this little portion here, and we are going to put it through the buckle. And the cool thing about this is with 1/2 yard roll of this material, you can get at the very least 10 tags out of it.
Oh, wow.
And there you go. There you have it.
Beautiful.
And this material is very friendly towards HTV. It is also very friendly towards embroidery. And I do have a small little tutorial in my group that I will pin to the top so you guys can see it, but it's fairly easy. You use HTV, which is heat transfer vinyl that you can find at Joann's or Amazon. You use your cutting machine to cut out a font of your choice, and it does have many different options. And using a little mini press, I think it's a Cricut mini press, but also an iron would work. You just apply a little bit of heat for about 5 to 7 seconds. And the key is for you to keep moving the press or the iron so that you don't lose this beautiful texture of the material. And then you peel off the backing, the protective film that comes with it. And it's kind of fun.
Isabella, do you use a Teflon sheet or a pressing cloth or anything like that?
I do. I do have a Teflon sheet that I use. Yes.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Gorgeous and so simple and quick, right, everyone? What do you think? Any questions for Isabella?
Yeah, great gifts.
Yeah, for sure. And these will make great items for your inventory for craft fairs and quick to sew. And, I believe that people gravitate towards your booth when you have a range of prices and they see if you put these out in front, they're going to see them and that's going to bring them in, right? So I think it's a great choice. Isabella's showing some of her gorgeous Texas faux leather in front of me. So I'm going to shut up so she can talk about that.
And Teresa,
you.
Isabella, we have one question from YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Zena would like to know what is the name or manufacturer of your hand press? She likes how compact it is.
It is. I love it too. I actually brought this in my suitcase that did not have a luggage tag on, might I add, from Brazil. So I have never seen it here, but it is made by Cardenas. I love it. It is hefty enough, but small and compact. The only downside is that the dies, I have to order them from Brazil too. So yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
No problem. This is what the pattern pieces look like. So they come marked with everything that you need to cut out. including the little straps here. But again, if you have access to an electronic cutting machine, it becomes super fast and super quick. These are some of the colors that our Texas double-sided faux comes in. I think we have 7 colorways available. And like I mentioned, I have hardware kits put together for the luggage tag as well. And if you enter, here's the coupon code, holiday, lowercase, uppercase, doesn't matter, holiday, and you get 15% off everything on the site.
Woohoo.
Okay.
Isabella, sorry, I've had already 3 sips of my drink and I'm slurring. What weight of leather do you use?
So we currently have a leather called the Duchess in Sue's honor, and it's about 3.5. So 3.5 ounces to 4 ounces is where you wanna be.
Perfect.
Okay.
And Eileen, great point here. She says you can personalize on the spot at craft fairs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very, very, very good point. Awesome. Okay, any other questions for Isabella? God, I can't stop staring at those. It's so pretty. Those colors are gorgeous.
They're gorgeous for sure.
And I don't know if anyone has tried the Texas double-sided faux, but it is amazing. You're gonna look at it and you're go, oh my gosh, this is not like any other faux leather you've ever seen. It's amazing. It's really
It
well.
is thicker than most faux leathers that we're working with, right, at 1.6 millimeters, but it is so soft. Again, it's amazing. I really love it.
It really is. All right.
And if you make her wine bottle holder out of that, it's perfect.
It is. I have a few projects. I have the wine holder, I have the lipstick holder, and I have the sunglass case, which all work really well with the double-sided faux.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you,
Thank you.
Isabella. Awesome job. All right. Love that color goes through. What? Sorry. Love that color goes through. What does that mean? What does that mean? Okay. Say it again, Eileen.
I'm going to say it out loud.
Do it.
I was just saying that I love that the color goes all the way through of that
You're
side.
absolutely right. So that's a good point. And I think, Isabella, I'm going to bring you back up. I think that's a very valid point because we frequently and most of the time see faux leather and vinyl that has a white or black or cream backing, right? Can you show us the back of this?
Sure. So usually faux leather is laminated over a fabric, and it's usually a knit fabric. So sometimes when you cut it, you see the white of the fabric showing through, or it starts to fray a little bit and you see that. This is all PVC and a very thin layer of this fleecy suede back. So again, this was designed so that the edges don't have to be finished, although they can be finished if you wish to edge paint it. And it doesn't work really well for projects that have to be turned because, you know, it's quite thick. But for raw edge projects, it's ideal.
Awesome.
So as you can see here, all of the backings on a different color, they look very similar to the color of that here.
There you go. Love it. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Always. Okay, so next up is Andrea Bakewell. I forgot to mention when I said earlier that she's going to be doing leather earrings. She's also got a nice drink recipe going on for us, and she has a really cute addition to that drink. So just as a reminder for those of you watching on YouTube, we do have a 20-minute lag. So if you have any questions, go ahead and post them.
20 seconds.
Sorry?
20 seconds.
Did I
You
say
said 20 minutes?
Put this
Somebody
away.
cut her off.
Look. I mean,
Okay,
come
put
on.
that back in the kitchen.
20-second delay, not 20-minute. Oh my God, I'm fired. 20-second delay. So if you have questions, please post them in YouTube. And Andrea, I'm not sure how to access that live stream. So I don't know while you're up here if I can watch for questions. So you may have to, we may have to
Just
look
go
at those
to your
videos.
YouTube channel on
I'm
your
there,
phone.
but it won't
Okay.
pop up. It doesn't pop up. I mean, see it, it's in a little square, and when I click on it, it just sits there.
Are you on YouTube?
I am.
Like on your page directly?
I
If you
believe
pull it down, let's see if it'll refresh it. Because if you have to be in the YouTube window directly.
I'm in, I believe I'm in YouTube because I'm on my channel and I see it over there in the corner along with all of our other videos, but it's
Okay.
not live.
So
I'm on the
click
live chat section. It won't pop
so
up.
just go to the bagmakersworkshop.com, like the Bagmakers Workshop on YouTube,
I'm there.
because you're in our admin section, I think.
I should
Okay.
be able to watch it, right?
Sorry, click the home button. See on YouTube, you see the
Yeah.
home?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you see it now?
got it. That worked.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
And then just
Okay.
look for the comments. You're welcome.
Okay,
So
all right.
if
So
you'll just put up, spotlight both my cameras.
both your
So my
cameras. Okay.
overhead and my front camera.
This one and let me find your, where'd your other one go? Oh, it's down here at the bottom. Here we go. Add. Okay. This is
Okay.
Andrea Bakewell.
Hello. Thanks for joining us now or even later if you're watching after we're off the live. So welcome. So my cocktail for you tonight is super simple. It involves champagne or anything sparkling. We're going to add some glitter to it and sparkle it up some more. So I'm going to demonstrate two versions. One here, these are adorable little shot glasses that are Christmas ornaments. Now they do have a flat bottom, so they will sit on a table. If your champagne glass is too wide at the top and it doesn't sit on it, so you can actually put it on. If your glass is stable enough, you can also use a Christmas hook and hang it on the side of your glass. Okay, just make sure it's not going to tip over. But so this is just cranberry cocktail juice. And on the resource page, you'll find the different things that I'm using tonight. So this is a champagne diamond dust glitter. Okay, it's an edible glitter, but it's not sweet. It's not sugar. So it's not going to dissolve. It's just going to remain glitter and it will stay in the drink. So all we're going to do is on the first one, this is kind of what it looks like. Beautiful, sparkly. Okay. Just don't put it with your scrapbooking or card making glitters. Okay. Keep this in your kitchen. You want to make sure you're using the right one. And you don't need very much. So what I have here tonight is just a 1/8 of a teaspoon. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to tap it right into the ball directly here. Okay, so I just put it in there. And I'm going to put the lid back on for a moment and I'm just going to shake it up. Okay. And if you can see, it's changed the color of the cranberry juice. So now it's got all pretty sparkle. So if you wanted to use glitter in juice, you can. I do use it. I make ice cubes out of cranberry juice and also orange juice. And I put those in mimosas or cute little drinks as well. So we're just going to leave that a moment. And the first one is my favorite champagne. We do a lot of brunches and Costco carries, which they've been out of it at my local for at least a month, is a peach mango champagne. It's very sweet, but it is so good. So for brunches, it's perfect. And when you add some cranberry juice or straight tart cherry juice, it takes that sweetness down a little bit, but It's fabulous. So that's my favorite champagne. Tonight, this here is what Serena was showing she's drinking tonight. This is just a sparkling cider that you can use. So anything bubbly. So I'm going to just basically pour it in, leaving room for the cranberry juice. Okay. So here I just have it nice. And I've used my glitter already. So now all we're going to do is I'm just going to take this and I'm going to pour it in. And the fun thing about anything bubbly is that the bubbles kind of keep the circulation of the glitter. So I don't know how well this is going to actually show up on the camera there.
I'm gonna remove your second camera for just a second.
Okay.
Back up.
Let me see if I put the light over it. No.
We can definitely see the glittery. Yes.
Okay, maybe let me move. There we go. Now you see it sparkling. Okay.
Cool.
And it's going to settle, okay, to the bottom. So if you see there's gold that's starting to settle, but the bubbles are going to keep others floating around. So then you can just take some cranberries, fresh cranberries I like to add, and just pop those in and let them float around. Okay. The other one, I'm just going to do the same thing, but I'm going to just use for people who don't drink or you just want to do something plain, no flavor. You can use Pellegrino or Topo Chico or any of those kind of sparkling waters. And you can take your glitter and just put it right in the bottom of the glass. Okay. And when you go to wash your dishes, this is in the sink. So it makes your sink very pretty. So you're just going to pour in your beverage. Okay. And then you have now another just pretty sparkling. Now this one's clear, so it's kind of not showing up real well. Let me move the light if that changes here. Maybe this one will be better.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Yeah. So just real fun again for the holiday time. You can just drop a few cranberries in, let them float around. And the fun thing is when this is champagne, because it starts to settle at the bottom, when they take their second glass of champagne, the glitter's there and it'll start to rise again. So it's really, really pretty. I don't know if now it'll show with the bubbles settling. Not really there, but you get the idea. So that's just my little simple, fast cocktail. If you have anything sparkling in the house and people show up, you can just make it really quick. Okay, so
Andrea,
that's beverage.
Carol mentions that your nail polish matched the cranberry juice that was in the little Christmas ball.
Yes, I did my nails. I never do them ever because that never stays on. But I said, I'm going to be working real close to the camera doing the jewelry with my hands. So.
Well,
but I know what Isabela means.
Right?
Okay.
Kim asked if she would like a brand for your peach mango champagne.
You know, I don't know the actual brand, and normally I buy like 6 bottles at a time. And like I said, they've been out, so I've used them. And every time I go, I check for them, but they've been out. So when they get it back, hopefully they get it back, I will get a name for you and post it in our group.
Was that Costco you said?
Is it what?
You said you got it at Costco?
Costco. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it a Kirkland brand?
It's not a Kirkland brand. Mm-mm. No, I don't know the brand. I just know it says peach mango on the label.
Okay.
They have a one now that is a rose. It's not rosé. It's like they're calling it a rose champagne that is a little bit sweet and it's pink. It's very pretty. So that's kind of my backup champagne right now, but I don't know the name of the peach mango.
All right.
but I'll find
You
out.
do look like a cocktail waitress right now, I just got to say. Their tray and your apron, which I love the apron, by the way.
Yes, this was made for me by my lovely friend Teresa Stanton with her helping hands.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey,
So, any more
Um,
questions, Dream?
Andrea, is this it?
Is what it?
I'm showing a picture of it.
Oh, sorry. I
Hold on.
can't see.
Sorry, I don't want to be, can you see me?
Hi, Kim, 1 second. Give me a second.
I don't want to be showcased.
And I
but-
would imagine, that one is just mango, right?
Yeah, it's just mango. I
Yeah.
know it came from California in a Costco. A friend gave it to me.
Yeah, the one I am talking about is peach and mango, but mango is just as sweet. I would drink that as well. And
Oh,
I
I
would
know.
imagine that the liquor stores have it.
Not
It's
in
just something
Idaho.
that folks carry. I don't know.
Not in Utah, not in Idaho.
No. Well, if they get it back, I'm gonna get stock in it, and I'll just start selling it to you guys.
Andrea, Carla says we need to do a brunch at your house. So
Yeah, no kidding.
If you knew how well my husband cooks, you would really want to come.
that is for sure. And Linda says, looks like Total Wines carries a peach mango champagne. Total.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Linda.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you. So there are lots of champagnes. I personally like the sweet ones, but anything will work. So
There you go.
the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you samples of ones that I have made for tonight, which will then become gifts this direction here. Okay.
Andrea, do you still want both cameras spotlighted?
No, you can actually put the big camera on.
The big meaning you.
No, the earrings, please. Although I do have a set on
Yes, you
that I'll
do.
talk about. So these are the large feathers, and I'm going to show you the dye I use for these as well. But I have a set on the table. Okay, perfect. That's better. Okay, so here. Okay. All right. So as Teresa said, these are easily done with scrap leathers that you have left over. I also use a variety of decorative leathers, and I'll show you some of the sheets that I use. Peggy Sue Leather has a fabulous supply of just gorgeous leathers. Actually, I'll show you one right now while we're talking about it. Okay. Is
Ooh.
this. And they come in 8x10 sheets. Okay. And often the back is beautiful on it. It's like a suede, very finished, very beautifully. Doesn't have the fuzzies on it or anything like that. So this particular one is what you're seeing similar here on top. And the bottom layer here is divine scraps of leather that I had used. So this one here is this one. Okay. And again, it's finished on the back. So this particular set, what I did is I reversed it. So if you see the back of the earring, it's the shiny, but I used the black for the longer layer and then the shimmer for the top layer.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. Yeah. And so really, if you just put it directly onto the earring hook itself, you can easily rotate them or just have one if you just want to wear one. There's lots of options that you can do. This particular one here is going to be, and the faux leather that Isabella was just showing you could work for a single or a back layer. And with that, I mean, if you look at this particular leather here, It is backed, I think, with like a lambskin or something real smooth. And then they have the glitter. I think when I measured this is about comparable to a 5 ounce. It's very stiff. So I would not cut a feather type earring with this material, because with the feathers, you want to be able to see movement, okay, with feathers. But this here is this particular pair here, okay? And it has lots of pretty sparkle to it. So this is just a single layer of leather with some silver findings that are from Crafty Cactus. And Teresa has the resources for these in her list. Okay, so that's one sample there. So those are just a couple of the leathers. I have others as well, but what I wanted to show you here is we're going to do this old school, meaning when I do a demo, it's going to be very quick, and it uses a die press. Okay, I'm going to use the Big Kick by Sizzix. If you have an AccuQuilt, if you have probably a clicker press, I don't have one, so I can't really test it, but the concept is it's applying pressure, and the pressure that gets applied between the leather and the plates force the blades to come out. Okay, so if you have, that type of press, you could do that. There are SVG files that you can get for earrings. I have several files, but I haven't used them because to me, this is super fast. I can whip out a pair of earrings and make them in 10 minutes. So I just like doing this method. And I have a few dies. So on here, you're going to see I have handwritten measurements, and that's basically the size leather I want to cut to encompass if I'm going to do them individually. So if I wanted just a big feather, then I would cut a 4x2 piece. If I was going to cut both of them, then I cut a piece that is as large as this plate. Okay. And the leather that I have used, I'm going to show you. I got this pack, not this one, from Peggy Sue. She does, I think, scrap packs of leathers or sample packs. So these are about 4x6 sheets, and you could get 2 pairs of earrings out of this. And I'm going to show you, for example. Okay. So this is what I did, and I ran both through twice to get each pair. Now with feathers, if you look at this here, you're going to see they're almost a mirror of each other, so that when you hang them on your ear, one's coming in and the other one is coming in the opposite way. So by doing it that way, when you lay your leather on top, you're going to cut one like this, and then you're going to cut one like this. Okay, and that's going to give you the mirrored pair. And by doing that, I'm going to take off my earring here a moment so you can see. So I created this set. Okay, this is going to be with these leathers here. Okay, so if you look, you're going to end up with opposites. Okay, but I end up with 2 pairs. So I have 2 of this one, and then I have 2 of this one. So you end up with 2 pairs. Now, what you can do is if the back is pretty, okay, which this one is, it's a nice suede back. If I didn't want it to be super glitter, then I could put the red glitter up and have a mute background. So there's lots of ways that you can play with this, okay, in the leathers. So these are from those dies. This particular feather here is this die. and this is also from Crafty Cactus. These dies on her website run about $45. But you can use them over and over and over. They last a really long time. So, and her dies also have the holes already as well. So when you run it through the press, it's punched out your earring finding hole as well. So these two pairs here are using this die, and these I used cork. Okay, so these are cork scraps that I had. So the feather, again, you want to see movement. So you want a material that's going to be soft. So as they start to get worn, the feathers will, you know, start to separate. And on this one, I added beads as well as the earring hook. Okay. So then on this particular pair, I used the piece that is on this die here. Okay, so it kind of creates this little tassel that you can add as well. And the cool thing with leather earrings, cork earrings, they're very light. So people who don't like to wear heavy earrings because it constantly pulls, leather options are a perfect choice for them. Okay, so these are our feathers. Now, this particular set here, not this one, all of these here are done using this die. Okay. And again, you're going to see I have all kinds of writing on it. So if I want to cut individuals out, I know the size scrap piece I need for it. And then I can cut it right away. I don't have to think in my brain every time or measure, oh, what size do I need, or waste more than I need to. So this particular pair here, I cut 3 using this. Okay, that made 1 earring. So this is just using this little scrap. So what I do is when I have little scraps of leather, I'll just cut it like right from the corners. Okay, so rather than throwing this piece out saying, oh, well, I've used it now, I'll keep it and I'll use it for small pieces. And then I'll trash it at some point. This particular pair here, okay, I used that same sparkle glitter that was on this pair because I had some scrap left over. So that is using 2 sizes on here. And I just used some E6000 glue to glue that in the center. Okay. And on the back, it's just black.
Andrea, a question for you.
Sure.
Clarette's asking if she wonders if Tim Holtz die would work, the die machine, would that work?
Yes, I have that as well, and that will work. That one's automatic. The one I'm going to use tonight is just a hand crank, but yes, that would work.
And
perfectly.
Carla's asking, can they be used with AccuQuilt machines?
Yes. Yep, same process. You have your cover plate that you put on it and you feed it through. Yes, same exact thing. Same thing. Yep. And this die here and this one here, these are both off of Amazon. Again, they're on Teresa's list. These are $15. Okay. They don't have holes, but I'll quickly show you how I measure. Basically, I do a 1/4 inch down from the point. Okay, but these are only $15. So this particular pair, I had scrap. Well, let's go this way. Okay. I had scrap from this feather set. So I made just this little set because people who have short hair or teens or, you know, whoever don't like big earrings, they would love something small like this. Okay. And very lightweight again. Okay. And then here we've got this. I have it on a large jump ring. You can see it here because I want these to move. This top glitter is a very thick piece. Okay, it's very thick, but it has movement. And then these are lighter. Okay. My sister-in-law, they're Bills fans. So I've made them all a pair of earrings for Christmas. Okay. So then the last one I'll just show you is the other die. Okay. Which is this particular one here. Okay. And it kind of creates this cool S. Now you could have everything go the same direction if you wanted to. That just comes into play when you cut them. And then I added some bling charms to them as well. So it has so many possibilities, even just using the same die. You know, if you wanted to just have a smaller one, you could just do something like this, or just something like this. You know, so there's so many possibilities. So you think, oh, I'm going to need all these dies. You really don't. I have 4 dies for earrings, and I use them over and over, and I mix them all together. Okay.
Anne's asking, does the Sizzix machine work with these?
Yes, and that's what I'm going to use tonight.
Awesome.
So I'm going to demo. I have already prepped pieces for you. And I'm just going to quickly show you on doing the feathers, because that is something to me you want mirrored. And then I will show you how you can cut multiple pieces out at one time, doing another pair of those Buffalo Bills earrings. So what I have here, if you were a scrapbooker back in the 90s, maybe the 2000s, the Sizzix Big Kick was the thing that you did. I will tell you, have one of these, which is a masking tape roller, because you're going to have lint all over the place from cutting the earrings. So I use this to clean up my cutting mat. Also on the back of the earrings, I'll use it. So here is the device that we're going to be using. Okay, if I turn it this way, it's the Sizzix Big Kick. They still sell it. There is a link on the resource list for it. This thing I think is probably almost 95, yeah, probably close to 30 years old almost. But it keeps going. Why? Because it's old school. It's just got a crank handle. There's nothing that can break on it. So then when you buy this unit, it comes with different plates for thicknesses that you may need to adjust for. And it comes with plates that you put over the leather and under, like making a sandwich. These are really in bad shape. I had a new set ordered for tonight, but they didn't come in time. But this is my original set. So again, it's last forever. So the one other thing I was going to show you, which is just a little bonus tip, is for those of you who work with Vegetan leathers. Okay, this was scraps left over from Serena's flower workshop, and then I had bought an additional piece. So you can get what they call embossing folders. Okay, and you can actually emboss your Vegetan leather very easy. So these are 3 that I used, and I'm just going to show you quickly what you can do. Okay, you can create a textured earring, and you would cut your earrings out of that. What I would do first is I would dye or paint this entire piece, both sides, and then I would cut my earrings. I probably would maybe use some mica powder on top to give it a shiny, glittery look. This is the polka dots. Okay, and what I did is on half the sheet, I reversed the embossing folder. So you can have embossed or debossed with these things. And then this was the hearts. Okay, so you can do your Vegetan scraps as well with something as simple as an embossing folder and create your own texture and pattern. Okay, so the way that this works, it's very simple. So I'm going to turn it this direction so I can see. Let me see if I can bring this up a little bit higher. Let's see. We're up all the way. I think you'll be able to see. Okay. So what you're going to do, we'll do the feathers first. Okay. So basically, we have here, this is going to be my 4-inch piece. Now this is a divine leather, so about 2 ounces. Now, if I was using one of these, I would cut double layered, but because the feathers have all these fine cuts, I don't want to do that because it may not cut it correctly. So, but what I can do is I can put them side by side like this. Okay. And then I'm going to basically lay it on one plate. And then I'm going to take my other plate and lay it on top. The die doesn't have to be straight. You just kind of have to have your plates on top of each other. And you're going to just feed it in. Okay. Now, sometimes if your leathers are too thin, I keep a piece of cardboard because I might have to make it a little bit thicker, but you're just going to push it through. Old school cranking. If you have the Tim Holtz, you can just feed it through, and I'll just come back. Okay. And then here's like where I could cut those little teardrops from, okay, that I made the other pair with. And then you're just going to pull them apart, pull it up. Okay. Now the feathers do take some cleanup. And by that, I mean, you see it's kind of put these little leather fuzzy pieces in it. So what you do need to do is you take a small pair of snips. I won't do the whole thing for you, but you'll get the idea, is you're going to just snip all of the pieces apart. And then you're going to clean it up if necessary. Now, I will tell you, because this was more of a fuzzy, if you put some Toconol on the back before you actually cut the leathers, that's going to help. Okay, but I didn't prep my leather like that. Okay, so I would just take the time and I would just clean this up, clean up all the extra little fuzz that came on. Okay. And then the same thing with your small one. And you just are gentle with your feathers, depending on your leather, because you can, you know, pull it. I will tell you 2 ounces to 4 ounces is like the perfect leather for making earrings. You don't want to use a lambskin. It's too thin. Something like this. Okay, it's too thin, it's too drapey, you're not going to get a pretty pair of earrings. It might look like it's going to look good, but they won't hang nice. Okay. So then basically to do my second pair, like I said, I want it mirrored. So I would put those upside down and then I would feed that through. Okay. So I'm going to set that one aside and I'm going to do the other set for you. Okay, and again, I have already cut my pieces. Okay, so I have my 2 sparkling pieces, 2 for the center and then 2 for the back. So now this I would cut double layered. And I'm going to use this die here. And by double layered, okay, this particular one has no uh, angles or anything. It's very symmetrical, so I don't have to worry about it. But so that the leathers don't slide around on each other, I'm just going to put the fuzzy sides together, and I'm going to lay it right on top like that. And then I will take my silver piece, and because this is so thick, I'm only going to cut one of these at a time. And I'm pretty sure that's the one I'm using. Yeah. Okay. And all you do is just put your plate on top, which is basically just holding it in place. You're going to wheel it through. Now, if you're not sure if it seems to feed through too lightly, just take your cardboard or extra piece of whatever and put it through.
Andrea, can I stop you for a moment to ask some questions? Andrea?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So a couple questions in the chat. Isabella's asking, what metal do you recommend for the actual earrings?
I will show you some of the findings that I used. And if you like, I couldn't put one together for you so you see how I use the tools, how to easily separate the jump rings. So I can put this pair together for you if you would like.
Okay. And Linda, the resource list has a link to the gift boxes. Carol says she tried to find Crafty Cactus and could not find the website. Is that the actual name of the website?
It's actually on Etsy. So it's an Etsy shop. And you're going to just on Etsy type in Crafty Cactus.
And Sue Reed also would love to know where you're finding fancy findings and fancy earrings. That's all on the resource list, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And I will show you them up close as well.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just doing the remaining pieces. Okay.
And
Now,
Penny,
if I was, go ahead,
ahead.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, Penny, I love your comment to Isabella that you have socks older than her. I think that's fabulous. Carol's asking, I have the Big Shot, but can't find the handle. I don't know. Is there replacements? Do you know if there's replacements for that?
Since they still make it and sell it, I would think you could contact them directly for that.
And do these dies work with a clicker press?
I don't have a clicker press, so I can't tell you 100%, but my understanding is that the clicker press uses metal dies, and you push down, it applies pressure. And so by applying pressure on this type of block, if you had a plate, and these you can get off of Amazon, a pair is like $11, I think. So if you had it here with your leather, the die on top, and you put the pressure down onto it. The one thing is with the clicker press, I think you can adjust the amount of pressure, right, that you're putting on it, because you don't want to crack your plates. So maybe if you were to use a piece of soft wood, maybe that, and just experiment with it. So because the pressure will force out the blades, okay, that are in there, and cut the leather. Because I don't know if I turn it sideways. Yeah, see the blades?
Yes.
Okay, they actually push out and into that layer.
Okay.
So I can cut that 5-ounce thick glitter perfectly. It doesn't not cut through it.
Okay. And can you show the name of this machine, this little device you're using right now? Again, please. So it's Big Kick Sizzix. That's the brand.
Yes.
So that's the
Yes.
question. Jackie Megro, that's the question that you asked, as well as Patricia. And then Clarette says, can we make SVG files on our cutting machines to make the earrings?
Yes, you can. To me, you know, I just from the standpoint of how fast I can make them, I just prefer them doing this way because right on our Cricut or Scan and Cut, we have to set up the software. We have to get the earrings into position. Now, let's say you wanted to make 10 pairs at one time. You're going to lay down a big sheet of, you know, leather. Then that's probably going to be a little bit faster. You might need the rotary blade. I don't know. Exactly, but they can be done. It to me, I think is just longer, the whole initial process and setup. But they make earring SVGs. You can buy them off of Etsy for a couple of dollars. And they have all sorts. Like I said, I do have some, but I've yet to do them because this is just fast for me. But if you buy the Sizzix Big Kick, it's on the resource list Teresa has posted. It's about $94, I think. It will come with plates. It does come with this, which it gives you all the directions and everything that you need for depending on what you're cutting. So you can use it for a lot of things.
I have a comment to make also. If you don't have any of these machines, you can take a piece of cardboard, piece of whatever paper, cut your own pattern, trace it on and cut it by hand.
There you go.
Totally. And use an X-Acto knife to cut it. Yep. You can also use something like these.
Right.
These I use with our cam press. They're metal dies that are used in like bag making type things. So they have the sharp blades. So you can just get a set of these. I mean, there's so many options, but yes, totally. You can hand cut it, you know, go real old school. It's just the process, you know, to whatever you're doing, however you're doing, just enjoy the process, you know. So I'll just show you quick some of the findings that I use, and I'll put one earring together for you to see how easy it is. So the question that was asked is, you know, where I get my findings. So I'm going to show you these particular ones, which are these here. Okay. These I just love putting on my earrings, especially the longer earrings on the feathers. They come in a silver and a gold. So these are gold here. And they're just super pretty. I mean, you could put one on, you know, you don't have to put two, but these are from Crafty Cactus, and they basically are just like this. They're a hard metal and just very shiny. And I have my silver and gold mixed together. Okay. I do like to get a lot of the findings for the earrings themselves from Hobby Lobby. They make a silver plated, which everything that I showed was silver plated tonight because it's a very shiny, bright silver, as opposed to the nickel, which is a more grayish, muted color. I do have them in black. I have them in a, you can get them in this pretty, oh, what is this called now? The copper, antique copper.
Bronze.
So you can get them in all sorts of colors. You can get the jump rings that go along with them. Okay. And you can find all of this stuff online, all of it on Etsy, but Hobby Lobby has a ton of it. And the brand that I really like is the Jewelry Shop. So if you have a Hobby Lobby, they put this stuff on sale every other week for 50% off. And it's super shiny. And it stays shiny. the jewelry shop, all of their stuff is nickel free. So for those like myself that fake jewelry bothers your ears, this stuff tends to not do that to me because it's nickel free. You can get pretty ones like this. They have bling in them. Okay. So really all of your hobby stores will have things. Michael's, Joann's. Like I said, Hobby Lobby has a ton. Now I did get a set. So for those of you who cannot do jump rings or work with tiny things, I did get these on Amazon and they are on the resource list. And I'll show you the pair that has them. Basically, this is like a key fob almost. So you are going to position your point where you want to attach it, and you basically just squeeze that together and it claws into that leather. So you don't have to mess with jump rings. These are rainbow. Hobby Lobby also carries some rainbow stuff, but you do have to work with jump rings. So this particular pair here, this way, oops, this way.
There you go.
Okay. You see, it kind of just clawed it.
I like that.
And because they're light, there's no weight to these earrings. So it's not like, oh, it's going to pull out, because it does have these little points that dig into the leather. Okay. So these are actually the rainbow ones. It's hard to see the rainbow in the camera. Okay. Those are off of Amazon and they are on the resource list. They did have a nickel color, which is that matte type grayish silver. Okay. So I mentioned earlier, I'll put the feather ones together since they have the holes are already punched, but I'm going to show you because I told you on Amazon, the earrings do not have the holes. Okay. There's no holes in these. So you actually need to punch the holes. So what I do basically real quick is I take a ruler and I measure down 1/4 of an inch and I place a mark in the center. So I have the edges at the top in between 1/4. And then I put my hole there. And then I use a rotary punch and I punch the holes, but sometimes they do come out large. So once you have your mark, I prefer to use an awl, something fine, like this is a fine tip awl. It's skinny because you don't want to go too far in, right? We don't want a super big hole. So this particular one here makes a tiny hole. This is by Annie's awl. And I think she might call it something else because they use this as a presser tool as well. So, but I like this one. But the earrings that are done with the Crafty Cactus already have your holes punched out. The SVGs, I believe most of them will also have the holes for you. Okay, so you just kind of want, oops, a tiny hole. You don't want anything real big. So if your rotary punch doesn't have something small, then I would use the awl. Okay. So then for a jump ring, okay, this is a thick jump ring. And if you want, I got these this week to show you. These are 9mm. I really like this size because it allows the earrings to move. The 6mm kind of makes them a little bit tighter. But here we have the difference. Okay. These are the same size, 9mm, but one is much thicker than the other. Okay. So basically what you're going to do is I use 2 tools. And this is that magic dip that is on the resource page. It puts this rubber coating on your tips of your tools so you don't damage your hardware. Okay. So I can see the seam on the jump ring. So I use 2. Okay. And I just push one edge forward and one edge back. Okay. So it's separated this way. So I had it like this, and I just pushed one forward and one towards me. And to close it, we're just going to do the opposite. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to feed it through the hole, and I'll work faster with my hands for that. Just trying to find the hole here. Okay, there we go. Okay. So then if I wanted to add any bling, or if I wanted to add those hanging findings, I would add them before I would cinch this up. And then depending on the finding that I would be using, I would add it possibly. And these here are also from Hobby Lobby. And you could put the earring pieces directly on this. You don't even have to use a jump ring. And that one is like this here. I'll show you at the top. Okay. So no jump ring at the top there. Okay. So, but for this purpose, if I was to add it to the earring piece itself, all I do now to close it up, again, I'm going to use 2 tools, one on the left and right of that opening. And now I'm just going to close it the opposite direction. Just one's forward and one's going back. Okay. And then once it's lined up and that seam is now closed, to see, okay, you see it's a complete circle again. And then basically that's it.
Beautiful.
So you just build it however you want. And these don't have to just be earrings. It could be tassels for your bags. You can make zipper pulls. There's endless options. And Sue's going to be doing a tassel. You could add these to the tassel that you create for your bag. So many options.
Beautiful.
So that's basically it, unless there's any other questions.
Any questions for Andrea? Great job, Andrea. Always so detailed and beautiful, beautifully done. I love it. Sandy, you have a question?
So what is your price point?
Sorry, Serena.
So, it just depends what I'm adding to it. So these sheets of leather that I showed, like from Peggy Sue, let me bring it back into the camera, like this. Okay, this piece probably ran about $10.99, maybe $12.99. You can buy the 4x6 pieces or 5x7 pieces. So obviously I could get a lot of earrings out of it, but typically I will put them anywhere between $20 and $30. Okay, if there's a lot to it, then I might go higher. But I like for them to just move, sell.
Sure. We all do.
Scraps usually go in the trash.
My dining room table has containers of all my bags. It's like, okay, I need to do something. Yeah.
Right.
But yes, they're beautiful, beautiful job. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Ilona says beautiful earrings, gorgeous earrings. Andrea, thank you so much.
You're
Beautiful.
very welcome. You're welcome.
Hey.
You.
So, I'm going to bring Sue on next, so get ready. But I would just wanted to mention to Isabella, I don't know if I mentioned to you that in the recipes, there's a chocolate truffle white Russian
Oh
recipe
my gosh.
for you, my dear. I forgot to tell you, and now it's probably too
Thank
late. Anyway, okay, let's get Sue up here and get going. Here we go. All right, Sue. Hey, girl.
Hey, I guess I should unmute myself.
You're good.
Okay, I've got this, how the host spotlighted you. Okay, I'll just close that off because I have this big screen here. Well, unlike the other two, I didn't do my nails. Warts and all, guys. Anyway, we're going to do a tassel, and I'm just going to show you how I do mine. Basically, there's many ways of doing it, but this is how I do mine, and how I'm going to show you how to use the heat hot stamp machine to put my name on there. But basically what we're going to do is this right here. So you can see I've got the Maggie 55 up on the top, and I'm going to do that with the hot foil machine. And I'm just going to show you basically how I just go from start to finish, how I fit everything in, how I put that on, and basically that's it. So I'm going to move my camera to above me. So bear with me here. And close your eyes while I get it all set up, because I don't want to make anybody sick. And basically because I had it moved out of the way so that I could see. Okay, so I have a piece of leather here. Oh, sorry, I just want to get it straight. I'm a Libra. That's all I'll say. So this is a piece of leather. This is the leather we used in the retreat when we were down in Tulsa. This leather is approximately 3 ounces in thickness. So you can see there's a 3 right in there. And I like to have mine a little bit thinner than this, like a lamb skin. So you can see how this is lamb skin, and this is about 1.75 ounce. So you can see how it really is very fluid and it's easy to work with. But I'm going to show you, because not everybody has the ability to say skive or thin out your leather. I wouldn't go any thicker than this. I would make sure that it's nice and soft and pliable. So this piece is 5 inches across by 6 inches long. I try to use scraps if I can. As you can see, there's an area up in here which has got kind of from probably under the armpit of the cow, and there are some marks, but I'm going to be kind of cutting it up. So the first thing you want to do is you want to coat the backing. Like Andrea says, she's used Toconol. That stops it from kind of getting all the fibers loose and free, so that when you shake it, you have more like a dandruff thing happening. So what you want to do is you want to stop that from happening. Now, there's 2 products. One is the Toconol that Andrea showed you. The other is, this is why I'm not drinking, gum tragacanth. And basically, I prefer this one. This smells like pine sol for anybody who's back in my era. And it's like a gel in there. So you can see it's very gel-like, and it's easy to work with. So we're going to coat the back. Now, I'm not going to coat the whole back for you, because, you know, you'd be just sitting here watching me put this gum trag on here. So I'm just going to do a section. How do you know which way to do this is based on the nap on the back of the leather. So I'm just going to show you. That is smooth. So like velvet, it has a nap. So I'm going downward. If I were to go up, you see that? That means I'm standing my leather fibers up. That's what creates that. I want to slick those fibers down flat. So I'm going to use a credit card. You can use what's called a glass slicker if you want. But basically, I'm going to be placing the gum trag on top, and I'm just going to smooth that down, making sure that that's going the correct way. So check that all the time. I find a credit card, an old credit card. This is a Tim Hortons rewards card. And I just kind of slick that down this way. So I'm going to use the gum trag, I'm going to call it, because it's easier to say. And I'm just going to add a little bit so you can see it's like gel-like. And I'm going to add that to the top, just like that. I'm going to move my cutting mat, and I'm just going to work it all the way down. So you can see what's happening. It's darkening that whole piece. If you get some on that table, you can lift it off. You want to smooth that all the way down. Now I'm pressing fairly hard on that so that I can have my gum trag go a long way. And there's more at the back. See that right there? So I'm just going to place it down. You want to go all the way down. You want to make sure you're smoothing down those fibers. Now, when real leather workers use this on the inside of the bags, they usually use the slicker, which is that glass piece that I showed you, and they just continuously push and push and push so that it's nice and shiny on the inside. I don't require the shine. I just want to make sure that my fibers are laying down. I'm going to wipe my table off, make sure that I have nothing on my leather. So I would normally cover this whole thing. You can let it dry for a little bit, but basically you can still cut it when it is wet. So this is what that gum trag or the tokenol does. It flattens that whole thing out and stops the fibers from flying around. And it gives you more of a finished look as well. Okay, so I will say that I've covered this whole piece. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this piece so that the wrong side is down and I'm looking at the right side of my leather. The first thing I want to do is I want to draw a line across the 5-inch area at the top. And I want to draw that line at a 1/2 inch. This is just a guideline for me so that I know where I need to begin my cutting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting 1/8 of an inch strips from this point, this line, all the way down. So 1/8 of an inch, 1/8. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'll just do a few of them to show you. I have one that's all ready to go. But basically what I want to do is there's 2 methods of how you can do this. I use a rotary cutter. I use a 28 size rotary cutter. It's a nice size. For those of you who would prefer to use a knife, this is the knife that Isabela sells, and it's from Paulo in Brazil. It's very, very sharp, and it's got a really nice feel. And if you prefer that, to work with that, you can do your strips like that. I prefer my rotary cutter for this. It's just something I've always done. So it's just, everybody has their own way of doing things. Now, I'm sure there are SVG files out there that will allow you to cut that on the machine. Here's my take on that. By the time you set this up, by the time you tape it down, by the time you get it all put into your computer, I'm done. And there's nothing more therapeutic than doing this yourself. So the way you're going to do this is I'm going to align that edge right here with my 1/8 of an inch mark on my ruler. I'm using a clear ruler. I'm going to give this a lot of support through here. I am working on a piece of metal, a steel metal plate. That stops my cutting from bowing. If I were to put this on the table, I could get a bowing, which would cause a bowing on my strip. So I'm going to start, and I don't care if I come a little bit further in, but I'm going to start at that line, and I'm going to hold that ruler nice and tight, and I'm going to do the very first cut. And then I'm going to slide that over to the side, and I'm going to line the cut that I just made up with the ruler. And I'm going to hold that down really tight, especially in the middle. Slide that to the side so that everything is laying flat. I like to move my finger as I'm going to make sure that I have lots of pressure. As you can see, I'm going past that, but that's okay. That's why I gave myself a guide. Anybody have any questions on this while I'm doing just a few more? I won't do them all though.
Any questions, anyone?
Okay, so what I would normally do is I would normally continue all the way along that 5-inch piece. And then I would have it looking like this.
Sue, Lori has a question.
Yeah, no problem.
Sue, I know it's a dumb question, but how thick is that metal plate underneath?
This metal steel plate is actually about 3/4 of an inch.
Okay.
And it's, believe you or this is a really interesting thing. This comes from my brother-in-law, which came from my first husband, who worked in the mining community. And this thickness of metal is used on the outside of mining equipment. That's how thick that metal is. So you can actually probably get a piece of granite or something like that from a kitchen store. We know they cut out the sinks and stuff. You can get them for free. They usually just throw them out. But you need something really hard, because if you're going along and you have any bowing on your table or your base, you're going to create a bow on your cutting.
Oh, okay. No, that's good. I have a metal plate for silversmithing and stuff.
Oh, right.
I'm thinking I could repurpose that and maybe make a fancy wood frame like you have.
Yep.
And,
Well,
you know, make it so that it's actually more usable, because yeah, I totally having the bow or any cushioning on my workbench because it's all padded.
yeah,
See that being
exactly.
an issue. Yeah.
That's
Okay,
it. That's
no,
exactly. Yeah. My
good.
brother-in-law actually made this, and he, if you can see, it says a product line, product of the busted knuckle garage.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks.
So my first husband gave him this piece of metal and he framed it for me, and it recirculated right back to me, which was really kind of interesting. Okay, so this is what this would look like. Now, you can cut as big as you want. I prefer 1/8 of an inch because it gives me a really nice looking tassel. I would not go any bigger than 1/4 of an inch when you're making these. But I mean, this is what it looks like. I've cut all these by hand, and I didn't have to worry about the machine going through and it lifting up, and so I prefer to do these by hand myself. Okay, dokie. So what we're going to do is we're going to now take this piece and we're going to do a dry fit inside our cap. This is the cap. These are from Emmeline. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll this around, because I made it 5 inches in width. I may not need 5 inches at all, which I know I won't, but I like to make sure that I have extra on hand just in case. So I'm rolling this up as tight as I possibly can get. And I know for a fact that it is going to be too big because I have tested this already. So what you want to do is you want to see if it's going to fit into that hole, and it's not going to fit in. So you now begin trimming back some. Now, some of you may say, well, why didn't you trim it back before you cut? It doesn't roll as well when it's in a solid piece, and it's harder to manipulate. So I'm only going to take off about 3. So I'm just going to snip that like that. I'm going to get rid of these 3. Now we do have to put double-sided tape on there, so you want to make sure you leave enough room for the tape as well. So now I'm going to put that in there, and I still think it's too tight. So I'm going to remove 2 more. Find scissors here. And that should probably do it. And I'm happy with that fit. So it's nice and tight. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some double-sided tape, if I can find where I put it. There we go. And I'm going to open this up. And I'm going to place that up on the top. This is just a 1/4 inch double-sided tape. You can use 1/8 of an inch if you want. You could even use glue if you wanted to, but I find that the double-sided tape is easier to keep everything held in position really, really well. Make sure that's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to peel the paper off the tape. See, my nails are gone, so. And I'm going to begin rolling this. I want to roll it really, really tight. So I'm going to push really hard on the first one so I get that nice and tucked. And I'm going to stretch it as I go. I'm going to use my fingers. I want to make sure that this top edge right here stays even and aligned. You don't want to create a kind of tube or tunnel that's coming out. You want to make sure that it stays nice and flush at that top piece. Kind of like the earrings. It's kind of like a nice, thing that you can actually do without a machine. Once you get it tightly rolled, then you want to do another dry fit. Just in case, because I know I was really tight. And it is still too tight, so I'm going to take off another 3 just to make sure. Now these ones that I'm taking off, I can actually reuse again if I wanted to. So I'm not going to throw them away. Now that should be fitting really well in there, just like that. So there is a screw that comes with these, goes right here. So you want to connect that up. Now what I like to do is, because how many of you have stripped your screw when you're trying to push on that? What I like to do is I look at where my line is here in relationship to where that screw hole is. I'm going to put it over to this side over here. And I'm going to push that in as far as I can go. I'm then going to take my pen and I'm going to make a mark right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my anvil. And I may have to move you guys up a bit. And I'm going to poke a hole through. So you can see there's holes here on this anvil. I'm going to press that through all the way down. So you can see it's gone through. I want a huge hole. I want a really big hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hammer down. So you can see how that's thicker at that end. And go right through. Whoops, sorry. Guys. This is a shoemaker's anvil, actually. So you can see the size of that hole. It's a pretty good size. You can actually see right through it. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to take and place that tassel back into position, making sure that my hole right there is aligned with that hole. I'm just going to push that in and you can pretty much see it. Right there. I can see it right in there. I'm going to grab my screwdriver and I'm going to grab my screw because these guys are really, really long. And I'm going to begin placing that screw into position. Now, when I'm going down and through here, I'm not pushing very hard because it's a pretty big hole. And like any of these guys, when you get about halfway, that's where you're going to find out that you are going to strip your screw. So I'm going, and if I feel any resistance at all, on my screw, I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to make the hole bigger, because that means my hole isn't big enough. See, I'm not even hardly pressing on this at all. I'm just giving a grab to support this so that I don't stab myself. So as you can see, it's gone right in. So the key to all of these guys is to make sure that the hole underneath is really, really big so that you can set that screw really well. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to add the logo across the top. Some people would leave that, but I like to cover that up. So we're going to now, let me move my stuff here. We're going to now go to the pure, I don't want anybody to get sick. Okay, this is my Tandy Pro heat foil machine. Now it's already on. I turned it on a while ago. And so I've got it set at 110 degrees, as you can see. That's the setting that I have decided will work the best for my leather right here. This machine is like a skiver. You have to play with it and play with it to make sure that you get the right setting for the proper leather that you are using. So it can go up in temperature, it can go down in temperature. Right now, I have got it set for 110. If I wanted to reset that temperature, there's a set button right there, and I just hold that down, and then I push the arrow up if I want hotter or the arrow down. Basically, there is a plate right here. That says the Maggie 55, and it slides into position in there. I have also had a plate made for me that says Maggie 55, and I had him CNC out the area right here so that it would slide into that whole area once this is pulled out. So that one's been done for me already. The letters that are used in here are from Tandy. They're brass letters. They're okay. I like them, but I think there's probably better ones out there, just so that you know. But they're about $300 to get the set of brass letters, and they look like this. If I can get this open for you. So this is all the letters in here. And this set is called brass imprint set. So this works with this machine. So basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be placing my leather down inside there, and see if I can get this down for you like this. And I'm going to be pulling down like I'm at the Las Vegas, my arm thing, so that I can imprint it. So basically that's what I'm going to be doing. Now, I have my silver here already set aside, and I have got it with a little bit of tape on the sides, and that's just so that I can hold it into position. I don't normally use the tape, but because I'm working with you guys, I didn't want it flying all over the place. You've noticed that I have mark centers on both the long edge and the short edge so that I can align my markings up on my base plate. Some plates pull out on different machines, mine does not. Some heads move over to the side, mine does not. This is an entry-level heat machine. There are other ones out there that are higher end, but this is doing exactly what I need it to do, and I'm happy with it, so I don't need to spend the extra money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this in. So right side of my foil on top of the right side of my leather. And I'm going to align those marks with my square, just like that. So it's sitting in there. If I was doing a bunch of them, I could make myself a little template so that I could just set it in place, and then I wouldn't have to worry about that. I am going to pull my handle down, and I'm going to count to 4, and I'm going to lift it back up again. That's why I have already tested this throughout the day, so I know that this is going to work. So we're going to pull that down and we're going to do a light pressure, a firm, not hard, but just a firm pressure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and up. I'm going to reach in there. I'm going to grab that guy. And this is what it looks like. And then I'm going to take, and this is where you find out whether you did it well or not.
Beautiful.
So this is where some of the candy ones I don't like. There, you see right in there, that A, it doesn't quite.
Come closer, Sue.
Okay, so
There you go.
okay, you see that? It didn't clear that area. So because it's such a small little area there, it's, you know, it's hard to really get a good clean press, but that's pretty good. If you have not pressed enough, you're going to see if I can find you some. If you have not pressed enough, you're going to have something like this happen, where you leave the foil behind. If you're pressed too much, you can have something like this happen where it bleeds it in, or if it's too hot, it melts the foil down into position and it over presses on it. So there's a fine line in getting it correct. The one that, let's see if I can find the one that I have that is good. Oops, sorry. So as you can see, there we go. See how the A's clear, the G's clear, the Y's clear, everything's clear. So that's what you're going to try to achieve when you are doing the foiling, just like that.
Beautiful.
And it's a matter of playing and playing and playing to get it set right. So mine is set at 110. So I've gone ahead and I have already pressed this out. So I'm now going to turn my machine off. So I just hit that button and it shuts it down. Does anybody have any questions about that machine a bit? I mean, we can go deep into it, but I mean, just some very basic, simple questions.
There's a comment. Clarette says that whole technique made you Woman of the Year. And Helena says you can clean that up by pressing tape on it that will take the extra foil off.
Yes, you can do tape. And here I'm going to now move this back down again. There's two ways you can clean that up, but you have to be very, very careful that you don't take too much off. One is to use tape. The other is to use a, let's see if I can find the one that you can use a brush and a nail brush and just work that as well. And that will take it off as well. So this is the piece that we're going to be applying onto here, but as you can see, it's too big. So what I usually do is, this is a 1-inch piece of leather. I'm going to place that right side down. I'm going to add a piece of 1-inch double-sided tape to the edge here, and then make sure that's nicely adhered. And then I'm going to cut that to size. The reason I'm doing that now is because it will go right to my edges with that double-sided tape. This area right here is 3/8 of an inch in width and about maybe a hair more. So I want to make sure that the Maggie 55 is centered between that area right there. I want to trim one side off and then I'll trim the other side off. Now I've gone ahead and done it already, and this is what it looks like. So you can see what I have done. I've just trimmed that back to size. The tape is on the back, as you can see. Now what I want to do is I want to get my size right on here because I've cut it at 2.5 inches. I've made it bigger. I want to make sure that I have about the same amount from the 5 from the M to here. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to kind of use my fingernail. I'm going to start with the 5 and I'm going to snip that piece right there. And I'm now going to come around and I'm going to use my fingernail and I'm going to just mark with here. But before I do cut that, I'm going to pull the paper off and I'm going to begin placing that in position. I'm going to cover the screw. I don't want my seam anywhere near that screw. You can also add some glue up and inside that area here. Some the Rally's fringe adhesive or a fabric glue, or I've also used a Luggage just to secure it even better if you think that that screw's gonna not hold it. And I'm tugging on that so that I can get it nice and tight. And I'm setting that in between those two areas, the lips from here to here, till I get to the other side. So there's the other end right there. I'm going to take my fingernail and I'm just going to dig it along that area right in there, which aligns with that seam. I'm going to pull it back and then I'm going to trim that. And I'm going to pull it into position so that that seam is meeting. And I'm just kind of manipulating it. What I generally will do is I will add some edge paint in there to seal that up. So basically, this is what the tassel looks like. Now, clearly, if you have too long of a word, it's not going to fit in there. So that fits just perfectly. I will also skive down these pieces sometimes because they may be too thick and they're easier to fit into that position. So that's what that tassel looks like. This is what the fuchsia one looks like. You can make them as long as you want. This one is 8 inches long. It's all in whatever you want to cut. You can also get different tassel caps. This one has it's got a nice little small cap. This one here, which there's no tassel on it, is a bigger one. So you can go into a larger one if you want, if your bag is more substantial in size and you want to keep it in proportion. So basically, that's how I make my tassels.
A couple questions. Ilona on YouTube says, wondering where you get your logo die and can they be ordered?
Okay, so my logo die was purchased from a guy in Toronto, and I can't remember his name, but I can get it for you. There are many companies out there that make die stamps, especially in the States. And I just can't think of their names right now. I will let everybody know later on as to who they are, but I generally use the guy in Toronto. But I think there's a fair leather, possibly there's a leather dye place specifically. Maybe Serena knows who they are.
Leather Stamp Maker is one of them. He's very
good. I've never used them, so I can't say, but I know that they make quality products. So I think the whole thing when you're getting a stamp is you want to make sure that that depth, that metal depth is substantial, because when you're pressing that down, you want to make sure that you get a really, really good stamp from the foil. So that's, the depth is important. And I think that's one of the things with the Tandy ones, that they may not be quite as deep as what some of the more professional ones are.
And Eileen says, would a pick for weeding heat transfer vinyl work to clean up those areas on the stamp?
You know what, I've taken a pin before and I've kind of gone like that. It doesn't really work that well, to be honest with you. What happens is when that foil gets imprinted, the heat, everything kind of melts. And if that area is very, very tiny and or has maybe got residue on the letter itself on the brass, it could bleed into that area. So, you know, it's really hard to get that area out. So you just have to do a lot of testing, and if you overheat, if you overpress, it's going to blob. It's going to blob right, and everything's going to bleed together. So that's why you have to do a lot of testing with your heat, your leather, your pressure, all those things, how long you're holding it down. Some people just hold it down once and up. So depending on your machine and what you want to, how it to work. So
Quita says she's used the leather stamp maker for several stamps and very pleased, and the prices are very reasonable. Serena says steel stamps is another one too. And Sarah says, any other foil imprinters anyone recommends besides the Tandy one?
well, there's the Dream one that's about $1,500.
Dream Factory.
Dream Factory. This one, I got this one quite a few years ago. I got it on sale. And let me get this out of the way. And it was, by the time I got it, and I got my letters and foil, the foil I'm using tonight was Tandy's as well. Amazon has foil. You can get Kingsley foil off of Etsy, but then they're all different qualities as well. That probably ran me close to about $900 for everything, and that's Canadian. So, and I got it on sale. That machine, I do believe I looked online, so I'm in Canada. It right now is $6.99 just for the machine. So,
Jen says Lonsdale Leather, which is in Canada, also has one. There's many of them out there to be purchased. I will tell you, I bought one on Amazon and I sent it back. I'm not going to go into any much of it besides that I was not impressed at all. And it was one that was recommended to me.
oh, and before I forget, sorry, I have a drink too. So now I can drink. This is my drink.
Your ice is melted.
I know my ice is melted, but that's all right. So I've coated it with sugar, colored sugar, and it is blue. It's called a Blue Christmas, and it is a blue. I'm just going to hold it with my fingers to make sure that I don't. It's blue curacao, a brand new Smirnoff vodka, which is called Red Merry and Bright. It's just a new one, and some cranberry juice. So there you go.
Blue curacao, cranberry juice, and vodka.
And vodka, yes. So
well, cheers.
So now I can drink. I didn't want to cut my fingers off. So
well, don't drink too much because I got a spot for you here in just a second. Okay, so I want to first say thank you so much to everyone, to all my instructors that have done such a fabulous job. Always so wonderful. Linda, you finished your Christmas cocktail and maybe you should have another one. I don't know. There were two on your table. I'm not sure who the second one went to. Anyway,
It went to my sweetheart.
Okay, I figured, but I don't want to judge. Awesome. And I love the little red sugar rim on your glass. That's pretty. Thank you, Isabella, Andrea, and Sue for your demos. Great job, ladies. As always, you do a fantastic job. Okay, so for those of you that stuck around, we are going to announce our workshops for 2025, and I see no questions in YouTube, so we're going to move forward. Okay, so first up, I'm going to bring Sue back on, and she's going to show, although the workshop has been sold out, it is January, our first workshop of the year. It's the carry sling, and it did sell out. But she's going to show the carry that she did a little modification. So I'm going to bring her back up so that she can at least show that one to everybody. And those that are going to be participating will be able to drool.
okay, so this is the carry sling. This is done. This is a brown. It's done using Emmeline's Mora vinyl. So what we're doing in this workshop is we're doing the echo quilting just on the front, as you can see, just like that. So that's the carry sling, and it's a really unique triangle design. And there's two zippers, one on either side, that you can actually go right through with your hand. And there's a zipper pocket on the back, and you can separate your strap from a sling to a backpack. And the reason that there are two zippers on one side as the other is depending on which side you wear your sling on. When you wear a sling, you can access it this way. If you wear it on this way, you can access it this way. So this is the workshop. This is the carry. This is the vinyl. And this is the plongé leather. So you can see, there you go. And that's going to be the workshop we're doing in January.
Awesome. And FYI, so on December 10th in our Facebook group, the Bag Makers Workshop, there'll be an opportunity for one other person to win a spot in this workshop. And it's really going to be very simple. I haven't put out the requirements for entering, but I'm going to tell you guys since you're watching. Really simple. If you have participated in a previous workshop with us, then all you need to do, and the post will be in our group, you're going to add a comment under that post that says how you have benefited from our workshops. If you've never taken a workshop from us, you can still participate. And all you're going to do is, this will require a little research. You're going to have to tell us what are some of the requirements or the qualifications to call yourself an advanced bag maker. And that information is found on our website. Okay, so there's still one spot left, and I'm going to do the drawing on that on the 11th. So I'm opening it up on the 10th. You'll see that post in the Facebook group. Okay, so one more spot in this group. Okay, so thank you, Sue. Very excited about that coming up. All right, next up, I have in February, those of you that have taken the a beginning or intro to our pattern drafting for bag makers with Isabela. We're coming back for more in February, okay? So there is a requirement in order to take this course that you have already taken the first class, and we did 2 courses of that. So we're opening up that workshop, and that's going to be coming in February. So I'm going to bring Isabela up so that she can talk about this.
Hello again. So for our second workshop, I wanted to thank everyone who submitted the feedback form because it was very helpful to understand what you guys were looking for. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a structured bag that looks like this one right here. It's got a gusset that sits inside. It's got the opportunity for different materials. We're going to talk a little bit more about stabilizers. We're going to do a rolled handle. There's a pocket on the back. So this is going to be a lot of fun. And I know that some of you are going to look at this and be like, oh my God, how do you actually make this bag? Well, we're going to cover the pattern drafting side of things in February. And then I hope to release an online course for the bag showing you the construction steps in March. So those of you who draft the pattern can then make the bag, if you wish.
Awesome.
Very excited.
Yay, that's awesome. So I wanted to share with everyone, and let me see if I can bring this up. Give me just a second. I'm going to share my desktop, and I'm going to bring up my photos. Sorry. Bring up my photos. Come on. Why doesn't it want to show? Okay, I guess I can't show them. It doesn't want to show them.
No.
I don't know why. I was going to show you guys some of the photos from the first course that of some bags that were made, and for some reason it doesn't want to let me bring those pictures up. I apologize about that. Anyway, just know that they've done some fabulous work. Some of those ladies are with us tonight. Linda Sachs is one of them. Off the top of my head, I don't have everybody. So you guys could probably share those pictures in the main group so they can see. Okay, at least that way they can see them. All right, so that's February. And then in April, we have, so we're not doing anything in March. So in April, we have Serena Lee, and I'm going to bring Serena up and she can talk about her workshop. Hey. You're still muted, sweetheart.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. And why do I have this thing in front of my face?
That's what I said.
All right. So we had such an overwhelming, oh, my hair's going crazy on me. We had such an overwhelming response on the flower shop workshop. We're going to do it again, but we're going to do,
You're echoing.
I'm echoing. I don't know what to,
I don't hear that.
I don't hear it.
who said I'm echoing?
So whoever said that, you may have to, if you have two devices up, that might be why. I'm
All
not
right.
sure.
So, I'm going to show you guys some that we did. This is, what do you call it? What am I
Flower,
using?
poppy.
This is a poppy. Yeah, this is a poppy.
Mhm.
And you can make these as little bag charms, or you can do all sorts of things with them. These are some of the different roses that we did, and you can, shape them to be different, to look different. Basic same pattern, but you can shape them differently to make the roses look different. So those are some of the roses that we did. This was another poppy that we did. This is one that I did it in another class with Annie Libertini, and this is gosh, my mind's blank. What kind of flower is this?
Orchid.
Yes, an orchid. I wanted to say iris, but I knew it wasn't
Sounds
iris.
like.
Sounds like. So we're going to do an advanced workshop next time. So we're going to do an even harder flower. So I'm either going to come up with a pattern for maybe like a zinnia, or a marigold, or an iris, something that maybe even a tulip. That'd be pretty. I haven't decided yet, but it's going to be a little bit more advanced than what we did last time. And along with that class, we're going to do half on some kind of flower that's going to be gorgeous, I promise. And the other one, when we had a retreat in September, I did a little thing on straps and doing straps differently and making your straps look more unique or stylish or whatever. And so I came up with some different ones, and I'm going to show you. And so we're going to do a strap workshop. And so I'm going to show you some of the things that I showed then. And then we'll decide, or we'll figure out later what exactly we're going to do. But this is one that I did boot stitching on. And boot stitching is really, really popular right now in bags. And just on maybe on the fronts of bags, flaps, things like that. So this is just a simple boot stitch that you can put on a strap to make it look a little bit nicer. This is the one that everybody really liked with the Duchess. I used the Duchess strap, and I used this diamond stamp that I have. And there's different, I think there's 2 or 3 different size diamond stamps on here. And then I used a product on there to make these look like stones. It's a really, really glossy finish that I put. So that's how you can dress up your Duchess or any other kind of purse strap.
Beautiful.
This one I just did a simple basket weave, but on a strap, it looks really nice. And then these were just a couple other little designs that I did using, this one's using the diamond stamp again, and another little stamp on the outside, and then adding some paint to it. So that just, and I think right here, I think on this end, I might have like antiqued it even, just to show different ways that you could do it. And then this is another simple using the diamond. And there's so many, and this is actually using a diamond and a half diamond. See down here? So that's the full diamond, and this is a half a diamond stamp. And I think this was just antiqued. So we're going to do a strap class, and it'll be fun. I'm not sure exactly what design we're going to put on a strap, but I'll come up with something that it'll be not too hard for everybody. And so that's going to be the April class.
Serena, you're combining the flower and the strap in one class, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and
That'll
Sue
be
Reed,
all together in one class.
okay, Sue Reed is asking, is this all veg tan leather?
This is all veg tan leather. Yes, correct.
Okay, and Laura,
In different thicknesses. And I'll probably come up with kits like I did last time where I send you the pattern with the veg tan leather. And I'll probably, depending on the strap, I'll send you the strap material also as a kit, if that's what you prefer.
awesome. And Laura, you have a question?
Yeah, so I didn't do the first flower class. Is that something that is a prerequisite?
No,
Okay.
no, we'll get through it. I promise. It seems hard, but those of you who took the test, or took the class, you can attest that it's just a process, but none of it's hard. And we walk step by step, just like Sue does in her classes.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You're welcome. It's good to see you.
Wait is asking, where do you get the diamond stamp?
That's something that if we decide to use, which we may, these are actually very King tools, but I was scrolling through Amazon recently and I saw a cheaper version of the tool on there that you guys would be able to get. Because I mean, you can get the more expensive tool if you think it's something that you're going to use. But I think this one diamond, the large diamond tool is like close to $100. And then there's the other sizes also through Barry King. Now his tools are very good tools and you're going to get the impression that you want. But I did see some on Amazon that I may just order a set just to see how they work, because that would be something that you guys could get a lot cheaper.
Sounds awesome. All right, thank you so much, Serena. Looking
Any other
forward.
questions?
Any other questions, ladies? Ooh, Monique says, ooh, strap workshop. Yeah. Awesome. All right, thank you. Okay, next we have in May, I'm going to bring up a familiar face. Come up here. Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Another familiar face. Hello.
Aren't you tired of me already?
Not.
All right. So in May, we're going to do a techniques workshop. Actually, I should say a combined workshop where we cover techniques, but also work on a project. So you have something to take home at the end of the workshop. And we are going to focus on European luxury leather working, where we talk about the different leathers. We talk about some stabilizers, and I will show you how to complete a laptop case. And we're going to finish the edges using a fileteuse, using heatable edge paint. And I have the pattern drafted. It's ready to go, but I don't have a sample to show it today, but it's going to be fabulous. And I know that the fileteuse is something that we have been getting requests on, so we're happy to bring it to you in May.
Yay. And the fileteuse project is falling under our Going Pro series. So that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's see. And then in June, we have Andrea. Hi.
So for those of you who have been around a while, you know I am the one to get you thinking outside of the bag, right? So this year we have decided to bring to you.
Oh my God, those are so cute.
Quilted sneakers.
I love them.
They are so much fun to make. There's a lot of techniques that you would learn in this that can be applied to bags as well as other things. And so these sneakers, basically there's a sneaker kit that includes your foundation and it includes an insert but then you get to select the fabrics and the style. This style is what we're going to call a high top. There'll be 2 other versions that are lower. So if you don't like anything around your ankle, there will be a lower version. There is binding. Okay, so you will learn to do some binding and rivets. Okay, these are some cute little flower rivets that I got here. And then on the inside, I've designed the back piece here to kind of just make it look very pretty. And then on the inside, it's also completely finished. And we will draft a pattern because it's not part of the kit or the pattern, how to make your own little insert so that it's completely finished on the inside and you don't just see the quote sneaker kit insert. So we hand stitch in it, and I used, it comes with a waxed thread, but I wanted to match the blue. It's hard to see in the camera here. So I actually used one of my Tech 70 threads for it, and just super fun to make in a weekend. And the kit comes in all sizes. They're European sizes. And you can also get them for little ones. So if you have grandkids or, little kids running around, you can make them as well. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun and get you thinking outside the bag.
I love it. So Andrea, you mentioned that it's hand stitched. So the hand stitching is just attaching the material to the sole. Is that correct?
That's correct. So the top portion of the sneaker itself, the quilting, everything that's going to be done by machine, but then to get it to your base, we actually hand stitch it.
Okay.
So there's different tools and, techniques to make that easier. And yeah,
Awesome.
but the actual top part of your sneaker will all be done via machine.
Okay. And Janice
And
is
a domestic machine will work for this. You don't need an industrial, but if you're industrial, I quilted this with a Tex 45. So you could do it because we're using foam on an industrial if that's all you had, but it's kind of overkill, I would say. So HD9s, I know a lot of you that attended the workshop in Tulsa got them. Juki 2010s or something like that will be just fine. So.
And can they use leather?
So for this workshop, I'm going to say no. But after you take the workshop, you will be able to make leather. But leather is a totally different animal because we're dealing with weights and all different things like that. So, but once you understand the whole concept of making them, you can totally make a leather pair. And come the workshop time, I probably will have a pair made out of leather. You could do it out of vinyl. However, I find if you buy vinyl shoes, they don't really breathe and your feet sweat. It's not a natural material, so you just have to keep that in mind. But you could, not for the workshop. For the workshop, we're going to use just strictly a quilting cotton. So you learn all of the techniques and the concepts, the thicknesses, what you're dealing with, so that your next few pairs or whatever, you can test it with whatever you would like.
Awesome. And Sandy, you have a question?
Unmute. Is it custom? Like, do you trace out your foot for this, or is this just like you say a size 8 and this is what the kit is?
Correct.
Or do you custom? Yeah, okay.
So it's going to be you'll order your kit based on your shoe size. And it's pretty true to size. They are European sizes, so there'll be charts to say, okay, if you wear a US 8, you'll wear a 39 or 38. I forget the conversion. And then we're going to direct you to pattern pieces that you'll download and just print your size. because it's, you know, there's so many
Mhm.
sizes. So you'll just print, we'll do all of that as part of the workshop, taping it together and so forth. So
Great. It's exciting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm so looking forward to this. Thank you, Andrea. Okay, so next up, we have Serena again. Hi, so in August, Serena's bringing us, go ahead, tell us.
Right. So a lot of you enjoyed doing the hand stitching class. So we're going to make a bag that is completely hand stitched. And I don't know if you guys know who Marina Karlova is, but she has agreed to let us use her pattern. And it's this little bag right here.
So cute.
So
Very-
cute.
I love it.
Very
So
cute.
Serena, we're gonna
What
cut
the bottom
and
looks like. Isn't that cute?
adorable. So we're gonna cut and punch holes, right?
Yes. We're going to be cutting. We're going to be punching holes. I haven't made the bag. I'm going to make it here pretty soon. But I think you guys are all going to enjoy it. We're going to use a nice chrome tan leather, something like a pull-up leather. It's going to be so luxurious and yummy. And I haven't decided which one yet, but I wanted to just kind of get you excited about that. A whole bag, hand stitched, and something that you cut and punch yourself. It's not something that you're getting from Babylon.
That's right. And you're gonna learn how to place the punches, the holes in the proper location to get them to line up correctly, right?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Very
You'll be getting the pattern too. So the pattern will be, it'll have the holes and things there for you to punch. So
awesome.
ahead of time, I'll be telling you what kind of punch you need to get if you don't have it yet. But yeah, that's a long ways away because that's in August, right?
August, yes.
That's in August. So, but I'm excited to do that with you. So that'll be August.
Janice asks, unlined?
Unlined. Yes, this will be an unlined raw type of bag.
Awesome.
I know a lot of our bags are more, what's the word I want to say? I don't want to say classy because this is not an unclassy bag, but a lot of them are just so refined that we do. This is something that is a little bit different. It's more raw. It's very popular right now too. And even in like tote bags and things like that, just the raw leather. So
Awesome.
it'll be fun, something different.
Right. Manik says, yay, I've been wanting hand stitching bag from scratch. That's perfect.
Yay! It seems
Wow.
like it's so far away, darn
I
it.
know. It does. It
It'll
does.
go fast.
Right. All right. Thank you, Serena. Okay. So, Sue, have you finished your cocktail? Okay.
Oh, she disappeared. Where is she?
Are you capable of talking?
I am. Barely.
Okay. So in September, Sue will be doing da 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 da.
Woo!
The
That's going to be
Duchess.
the Duchess, guys.
Yay!
We're doing it like this, though.
Yay! At my
We're doing-
request.
We're doing it with the strap and with the separating top piece. So
I'm
that
so excited.
Cute.
anyway, because
Very
it's everybody has been wanting to do it. So that's
With
what
the
we're-
crossbody.
Yes, and it's a crossbody, yes. So this is, and we're going to be using this woven
Love
strip
it.
as well, so that it matches. And how we're, I finished off the area here. And yeah, so people have been wanting the one that's smaller. The problem with the crossbody on the larger one is that you put it on a crossbody and you're stuck with the strap up your neck. So this actually I've been carrying this around since September, like constantly. I use it constantly, and it's been used and abused. And I could have sold it about 20 times. from people that in offices. They said, "Oh my God, I love it." So yeah, so we're going to be doing the Duchess.
Yay, I'm so excited. This is awesome.
Fabulous. Yes.
The 1 year anniversary.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right, very cool. Thank you so much, Sue. Okay, so that's what we have lined up for you so far. There might be a couple of more workshops next year towards the end of the year, but we don't have the definitive information, so we don't want to bring that out there, but this is what we have so far. But I did want to share one last thing before we go. So please, thank you for hanging in there. I know it's kind of late for some of you on the East Coast. I understand that. I just wanted to share something with you that I'm working on. So one of the topics that I get asked to present, not me personally, but it is going to be me personally, as a topic for workshops or discussions is about stabilizers and interfacings and that sort of thing. I get asked all the time about it. And I can understand why, because there are so many options out there that it can be overwhelming to know which one to use and when and with what material and why wouldn't you use it and that sort of thing. So I am working on a reference manual that will include not only the real commonly found materials such as SF101 or Decaville Light or foam, that sort of thing, but even some of the more specialty reinforcements, and I call them reinforcements because they're kind of an encompassing word. And that manual is going to have lots of information about each individual item, how it's used, how it works better in some instances than others. And there will be samples of whether it's leather or canvas or faux leather or cotton or whatever material it needs to be applied to. There'll be a sample, and it'll be a sample of before and after. So you've got your material without the reinforcement on it and then one with it. So you have something to feel, to know what it does and what it feels like when it's doing its job, right? There'll be pros and cons listed in this manual for each individual item. And I just like, for instance, I just want to share with you. So we all are very familiar with, I would think, with soft and stable. This is by Annie soft and stable foam, right? We're very familiar with it. It is a open cell foam. There's closed cell foam, which I'm sure some of you are familiar with. This is an open cell foam, and this is a great product. It really is. But in my research, I found something called, this is from Rocky Mountain Leather Supply, and they call it Oslo, OSLO. It is a memory foam, right? And together they're roughly the same thickness. I would say that the Bianni's is just slightly thicker, but you can see the difference in the stiffness, the quality of the material this is a lot softer, less rigid, as if you'll accept that term. They're both foam, but they obviously act differently. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to see how would they act quilted, okay? And so what I did is I took some leather, and it's the same leather, and I use the same thread, and I use the same stitch length and everything. This here on my left is using by Annie. This is using the memory foam, the Oslo. So on this one, I'm not sure if you can see this, but there is, let's see if I can you can see the puffy quality, okay, that comes up. So if you're looking for a puffiness, which kind of a diamond effect is replicated in the diamond stitching. Please don't judge my quilting. It's horrible. Anyway, so you can see that, right? And you can see that it has a smoothness and it has lift, as opposed to this Oslo, which almost has the opposite effect. It has sunken in. You can see that, right? And you can see that it doesn't, right? So if you're looking for a little structure with the foam, you can see which one you would choose. However, so for instance, the other thing I want to say though, so for instance, this not only looks good as far as quilting is concerned, but it feels better, because with this one, when I run my hands over it, I can feel every stitch. And it doesn't feel good, okay? And I was really surprised by that, because this memory foam, if you can compare it to, like, say, the Tempur-Pedic mattress, this stuff is expensive, and it feels good in your hand here. It feels really good. It doesn't have that same feeling with quilting. Now, if you're looking to, say, make a clutch and you want something that's got that really luxurious feel in your hand when you press it in your hand, this would do it, okay? But if you're looking to do quilting and make your quilting stand out and look really good, then Annie's is gonna be your option. And I was just kind of surprised by that, because this is a little more expensive. So for instance, by Annie, a 21.5 by 21.5 piece of foam, which is just under, I forget, it's 0.175 of an inch. Okay, it's not super thick. Anyway, 21.5 by 21.5 is $9.99 a yard. $9.99 for that size. The Oslo, which this is 3mm, they carry it in 5mm as well. And they sell them in panels, and say a 12 by 12-inch by 12-inch panel is $6.99. Okay, and we're not even including shipping in that regard. So you can see the difference. So this is just an example of what I'm trying to put together, because I really feel that people get overwhelmed by the options, and maybe they don't want to spend the money to do the testing. And I get it, right? So let me do that for you. Now, I don't know if this needs to be a workshop or not. You guys can let me know how you feel about that, but the manual is going to be available for purchase. I'm not sure exactly when. I'm working on it, okay? And so it's going to be available in a couple of options. You can either just download all the PDFs, in which case you would not get the actual samples, but you would get the information. Or you can buy the hard copy manual, and that would be available with the samples. Anyway, that's what I'm working on, and I hope that that's something that would interest you. If you have some input for me regarding specific material choices, or maybe information that you need, just let me know, and I'm happy to add it to that. Anyway, I want to say thank you all so much for being with us and for participating in our, I like to call this like a company Christmas party. Okay. So anyway, I appreciate all of you for being here, and I want to say thank you so much, and have a great, great holiday, and have an awesome night and a great weekend. All right. Thank you all. God bless you, and have a great night. Thanks,
Hi,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank you. Good night. It was
Thank you,
awesome.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bring on 2025.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is
Night,
great.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
Happy
to you.
holidays,
Thanks, everybody.